right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the WPT Lifestyle Show, presented exclusively on Anchor.fm and on the WPT Lifestyle Show's YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys, whoever watched the first episode that was uploaded the other day. Thank you so much for watching. We are close to 40 views in under 48 hours, which is awesome. I really appreciate it. So expect more shows in the future, as well as, multiple a week and things like that. So let's get into it. Once again, if you are new here and if you are listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button. Press subscribe as well, so you'll be able to be notified when the WPT Lifestyle Show is uploaded for that day. Also, check out my other social media accounts down in the description box below, or you can search WPT Lifestyle on all social media platforms, and you'll be able to follow us from there. So let's get into it. Let's get into the meats and potatoes of this episode. We are going to talk about today our AFC Championship and the NFC Championship games being played this Sunday. It's been a crazy week so far, especially for me right now. So we're recording this on Friday morning. It is a nice gloomy day. It's raining outside. The temperatures are rising. It's getting a little hotter down south, but we are in for the long haul. Unfortunately, there is no Saints games just being played this week. As a Saints fan, it's very tough to hear, potentially seeing Drew Brees retire this season. But it's not official yet. It's just reports. But after seeing the look on his face when he exited the field last week, you can definitely see that the time was up for him. Seeing that. On the field when he was talking to his wife and kids and things like that, you can just tell it's time. And then he ended up playing with this season 11 fractured ribs. Obviously we all know that a ruptured lung, as well as what we didn't know, where he tore his rotator cuff, as well as he tore a fascia in his foot. So obviously that's going to mess up a lot of his throws, and you can see Father Time was definitely there for him this past Sunday when they played the Tampa Bay Bucs. His throws were pretty weak, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. They had 4 turnovers in that game, so you just can't blame his injuries for that. Speaking of retiring, we also had Phillip Rivers hanging it up after 17 seasons, 16 with the San Diego, now Los Angeles Chargers, and then this past season, his lone season with the Indianapolis Colts. Once again, another legend is going to the retirement home. Will Drew Brees, join him? We'll find out. I would say it's going to be after the Super Bowl, considering he does have a contract with NBC that he has to be an analyst with the network once he retires. So I'm assuming he'll wait until the Super Bowl is over so he doesn't have to work the Super Bowl. That is all speculation. But here we go. We're jumping into this thing. We're talking about the AFC Championship game being played this Sunday at 5:40 Central Time on CBS Network. It's going to be the Buffalo Bills show going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, 2 of the most youngest and electrifying quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's on the big stage, right? You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. A few years ago when they were drafted, we all know they were great quarterbacks, but who knew they were going to be the face of the AFC a few years later, which is phenomenal. It's great to see 2 different teams playing in the AFC Championship after all the years that the Patriots dominated, the Colts dominated, and things like that. So it's great. It's really refreshing to see different teams being played on this Sunday. It's going to be a great one. Regarding the Kansas City Chiefs, now Patrick Mahomes, he did suffer a concussion last week. All right, he did suffer a concussion last week against the Cleveland Browns, and he had to be taken out of the game. But reports are saying that, Andy Reid is saying he should be good to go and play on Sunday. He's practicing. Obviously, he's in concussion protocol, but I would say, by Saturday we should know 100%, he's full go. But my speculation is he's definitely going to play this weekend. And let's talk about, speaking of quarterbacks, what about Chad Henne, right? Diving out for the first down last week. Wow. That led the Kansas City Chiefs to keep that clock rolling against the Browns. Fortunately enough, they were able to come out with the win. But that big play call by Andy Reid, wow. 4th down, midfield, okay? It was going to be a tough. The Cleveland Browns definitely thought they were going to run the ball right there, but, they did that play-action play, and, Tyreek Hill was lucky enough to get off the line pretty quickly, and he was able to catch and stay in bounds to end the game. Now, we all know that the Cleveland Browns definitely have a bright future. You can't deny that the Browns don't have a nice future ahead of them, especially with all those young key pieces on both sides of the ball, right? And they put up a hell of a fight against the Kansas City Chiefs last Sunday. So definitely big props to Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. He proved himself that he's going to be a very great quarterback for years to come across the National Football League. But definitely, Chad Henne came in there and did his thing and made sure the ball was rocking and rolling. And as I mentioned before, Andy Reid, electrifying play caller on both sides of the ball. One of the, main pieces, honestly, of that offense, seeing that air raid offense with Tyreek Hill, right? It's awesome to see. Now, regarding on the defensive side of the ball for Kansas City, let's talk about, another piece of their secondary. Bashaud Breeland, he's also in concussion protocol. Now, his is a bit different. I'm seeing reports that, it's definitely a toss-up. How will this affect Kansas City's secondary, right? We all know that Tyrann Mathieu back there leading the way. You also have Sorensen as well. Tyrann Mathieu is going to be a big matchup to watch. Whether he's playing on nickel or safety up top or, blitzing the edge. What if he needs to cover Stephon Diggs, okay, in the slot? If Bashaud Breeland's not going to play, what's this going to go down to for the Kansas City secondary? If Breeland's not playing, this game makes it a lot closer than what it actually is, even though in my opinion, it's going to be really close. And we'll get to the predictions in just a few minutes. But definitely look up that matchup. Stephon Diggs versus Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu, first team All-Pro at safety. He's been a great defensive back, especially for the Kansas City Chiefs and also across the NFL. Coming out of college, no one thought he was going to be, that great. We know he was a playmaker in college, and then he had some off-the-field issues, which got him kicked off the LSU team. But, went on from Arizona, then he went to Houston for a year, and now he's in Kansas City. But it's just truly showing, it looks like he's found his path and, his true home out in Kansas City leading that defense. Now let's move on to the Bills, the other side of the field, Buffalo. Right, they finally get their break. Tom Brady leaves the New England Patriots. He goes to the Tampa Bay Bucs. Now there's not really a front runner, right? That we know who's going to win the AFC East. We knew the Dolphins were going to be younger. The Patriots weren't going to be that great coming into the season, but also the Jets. We didn't know what to expect until we actually saw them come out on the field and see the abysmal plays that they occurred throughout the season. And so it was all Buffalo's division this year, right? Josh Allen was phenomenal. He's been fantastic this season. 4,500 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Phenomenal. Great work. Better, almost a 3-to-1, a little bit closer to 4-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, which as a Saints fan, we'll take that all day long. Okay? And just seeing that offense come alive, right? Stephon Diggs has been a great addition to that offense coming over from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Stephon Diggs, he's also in injury protocol right now. he has suffered an oblique injury. So he's been limited in practice throughout this whole week. Throughout the weekend, before the game on later Friday, Saturday as well, we have to keep an eye on this to see how it goes. But I believe he will play. He'll fight through that injury, even though it's just an oblique. So we talked about how electrifying the Kansas City offense is. Now, who's going to be that playmaker to stop Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Patrick Mahomes, right? It has to be Tre'Davious White, cornerback from LSU, one of the best defensive backs in the National Football League. Will we see Tre'Davious White lock down Tyreek Hill? It has to be, right? He has to be that playmaker the Buffalo Bills needs. He needs a takeaway. He needs a turnover. If he doesn't get a turnover, it's going to be tough for the Bills to win this game, specifically, right? They also need to win the turnover margin. If the Buffalo Bills cause the Kansas City Chiefs to create more turnovers, the game's definitely going to be in Buffalo Bills' hands, okay? Now, what I really would love to see here is if the Buffalo Bills win, okay, I want to see those fans. I want to see them go through not just one table. I want to see do 2, 3 at a time, okay? I think that's, the whole world is wanting to see that if the Bills end up winning this game, just because it's such a big game. Right? When's the last time the Bills went to the Super Bowl? Many, many years, okay? You have Sean McDermott at the helm. Leading the offense is Josh Allen. Then you got Tre'Davious White on the opposite side of the ball, okay? It'll be a tough one, right? They're going into Kansas City. Now, what I saw last week, Kansas City, they allowed a lot of fans in that stadium. A lot of fans. And the fact that you're having that many fans in the stadium, now you're talking about home field advantage for sure, considering they can make a lot of noise. It looked like 25, maybe 30,000, if not more, fans in that stadium last Sunday. Okay? So it's definitely going to make a big difference, but Bills win. Bills fans, if you are listening out there, please don't just go through one table. I want to see 2, 3 tables, okay? Throw your friend through 4 or 5 tables at a time. Electrifying. And light it on fire as well. That would be a great sight to see, but be careful at the same time. Regarding the, last week's play of Buffalo versus the Baltimore Ravens, their defense looked fantastic, right? They were able to stop Lamar Jackson and their run offense, with J.K. Dobbins as well. So if they can keep that up, but this time they also have to stop that passing offense, okay? If they can stop the run game of Kansas City, that's great. But the main objective is now you need to stop that passing offense. And that's going to be the key playmaker, Tre'Davious White, as I mentioned before. Now let's talk about the betting odds. Even though sports betting is not currently legal in Louisiana, but let's talk it over here right now. We're going over, so currently nationwide as of today, the Chiefs are -5 with the over-under at 53.5 on the Barstool Sportsbook. The Chiefs are -3. Over-under is 54. As I mentioned before, these are 2 electrifying offenses in the National Football League. The over-under of 54, I'm going to say higher. I think it's going to be a shootout. It might be high 30s. 40s on each side type game, okay? I'm not telling you to bet a certain number, but if I was a betting man, I would definitely bet the over on the over-under there. Now, prediction, okay? I really think this is going to be a close game. I really like this Barstool Sportsbook Chiefs -3 pick just because it's going to be one of those type of games. Okay, it's electrifying offenses. It's going to be back and forth. And it's just going to be that one turnover or that one big play that will make a difference. I think that the Buffalo Bills will turn it over more than the Kansas City Chiefs will in this game. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning in a close shootout. So now that we got the AFC Championship game out of the way, let's send it on over to the game that will be happening before that, which I think is going to be one of the greatest matchups of all time. You have Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Tom Brady considered one if not the greatest quarterback of all time, and everyone loves themselves some Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Mr. Discount Double Check himself. This game is being played on Sunday at 2:05 p.m. Central Time or 3:05 Eastern on the Fox Network. Now let's bring it back to what Tampa Bay and Tom Brady did last week. Their defense won them that game. You can't deny that. Creating 4 turnovers against the Saints offense. If not for those 4 turnovers, the Saints win. The Tampa Bay offense received the ball in Saints territory. Majority of the time, they were able to score 4 touchdowns off of those 4 turnovers during that game. Saints don't turn the ball over. It's definitely a different outcome for sure. But the defense, definitely huge props to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Devin White, Antoine Winfield Jr. did a fantastic job last Sunday. But, when we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right, it's crazy to say this, but Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady is the biggest impact that any player in the National Football League can have on any team. He jumped ship from the New England Patriots to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and all of a sudden, roles were reversed, right? The New England Patriots had a mediocre season. All of a sudden, the former mediocre Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a great season. Okay, I know it was tough in the beginning of the season. From when they lost the first game to the Saints and they got blown out by the Saints. But I think when that switch really hit them when they got that big win over the Green Bay Packers in midseason, 38-10 at Tampa Bay, right? The real question is, will the Tampa Bay offense be able to keep up with the Green Bay Packers offense, right? You have Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, right? Aaron Rodgers loves throwing him to his tight ends as well. Where's Gronk going to be, right? So the past few weeks, Gronk has been nowhere to be found, right? Even when he played his 2 games against the Saints this season, nowhere to be found. That's more of Tom Brady's more reliable, that trustworthy throw, right, to Gronk. In order for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be and create an impact, right, and be able to defeat the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, you have to be able to throw the ball to your tight end, move the ball down the field, okay? The offense was a very dud last week versus Saints. In order to defeat this Green Bay Packers team, you have to be electrifying. All your pieces have to be A+ that day. You need playoff Lenny to be there. Playoff Lenny is Leonard Fournette, just in case you didn't know. Playoff Lenny. All right? You need Ronald Jones, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Godwin, Gronk, Scotty Miller, right? Where were all these guys last week? I know they ran the ball a lot because they were in Saints field position the whole time, but you need Antonio Brown to be there, Scotty Miller, Mike Evans, and Gronk to win this game. You need them. They need to be playing their best football of the season, right? If you're able to move the ball on the Green Bay Packers, you have a good shot, especially because you have that great defense back there. You have a great defense. Now you have one of your best linebackers returning, okay? That puts him alongside Devin White, which is Kevin Minter, okay? Now let's talk about that defense, right? So we're talking about Kevin Minter returning from the COVID list. Now we need to make sure that young secondary can play as well as they did last week, okay? Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr., who had a fantastic fumble recovery and fumble. He made Jared Cook fumble the ball last week midfield, which pretty much changed the outcome of that game. And, things were going back and forth for a little bit when the Saints had 2 turnovers, but he caused that third one. Now, with this defense, you have to be able to hold Aaron Rodgers as much as you can, okay? That D-line needs to create the pressure. Obviously, you don't have Bakhtari out there on the offensive line. But if your D-line creates pressure, you have a great secondary behind you. You're still young, right? Things could happen, right? Mental mistakes. But when you have that, a great linebacking core like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do, you're able to cause some pressure, whether it's in coverage or, blitzing, things like that. So the main objective for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game is you can't turn the ball over. You turn the ball over, you put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands more often, and that will not lead to great success. You don't turn the ball over, you have a great shot at winning this game. Now, one of the biggest impacts in this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is also not going to be any player, okay? It's going to be the fact that they are playing at Lambeau Field in the freezing cold. Now, I know Tom Brady's used to, playing in the cold, snow, etc. But it's just another type of feeling and vibe, especially for a younger team. You're going into what they call the frozen tundra. You have to be able. That's just the word frozen tundra is just so scary to begin with. Now, as I mentioned before, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Green Bay Packers in the regular season 38-10, but that was at home. That was the Sunshine State in Florida, okay? Now, that's definitely bulletin board material for the Green Bay Packers. Now, hey, these guys beat our asses last week or in the regular season. It's time to show what we've got. We're a more electrifying team, right? And we're at home now. We're at home in the snow. Come on. I think I saw reports where it's going to be low 20s. It's going to be freezing temperatures out there. No fans though. Now, Tom Brady is also looking to do one of the first things he's ever done in his career is having that Super Bowl at his home field. Now, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game, they will go back to Tampa Bay and play the Super Bowl, whether that's against the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. Not really done often. I'm not sure if it's ever been done in Super Bowl history. Now, the main objective for the Green Bay Packers, and especially Aaron Rodgers, which he does a great job of doing, he doesn't really turn the ball over that much, but, mental mistakes can happen. Aaron Rodgers cannot turn the ball over this game. He cannot. He cannot afford to because, like I said before, if he turns the ball over, it puts the ball into the Tom Brady's hands, causing field position to be swapped, and, having a repeat of what Drew Brees did last week, right? So if Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over, similar to what Drew Brees did last week and the New Orleans Saints offense, the Green Bay Packers have a very great shot at winning this game, especially at home. Now, one thing that Green Bay Packers need to do also in order to win this game is they need to make sure that offense is rolling, okay? Unlike what they did in the regular season where they only scored 10 points, They need to be that high electrifying offense, that we're used to, we as fans. Aaron Rodgers needs to throw the ball deep, test that young secondary. He needs to throw that ball to Davante Adams. Throw it to his tight ends, which he loves a lot. Throw it to his favorite receivers, Lazard, okay? His running backs. Keep that run game going. Try to keep the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense on the field as much as possible. That way you have Tom Brady on the sidelines being freezing cold. The Green Bay Packers defense, in my opinion, if you stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run offense of playoff Lenny, Leonard Fournette, and Ronald Jones, you should be okay. Considering what the wide receivers did last week for the Buccaneers, they didn't have much an impact. So if you're able to stop the run game, which they did very well last week, you should be okay. You should be very okay. But in my opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers is literally licking his chops at this moment. You know why? He sees that secondary, super, super young. Carlton Davis, Jamal Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr. Now, Murphy-Bunting and Winfield Jr. had 2 great turnovers last week. But will they be able to keep that up against the Green Bay Packers offense? Now, the matchup to watch is Davante Adams versus Carlton Davis. Who will win? Okay. Who will win this matchup? Davante Adams. Come on. Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. Davante Adams is Aaron Rodgers' favorite wide receiver, of course. Okay, if Davante Adams could beat Carlton Davis off the line, Aaron Rodgers is going to literally throw that thing 60, 70 yards down the field. So in that matchup, that key matchup, this is the biggest matchup of the game. I had Davante Adams winning that matchup. Now, for the Buccaneers, injury-wise, okay, the Green Bay Packers, besides David Bakhtiari, he's out, of course, earlier in the season. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they might be missing one of their key pieces on the offensive side of the ball. That's Antonio Brown, okay? He hasn't practiced this week. So this is going to be a really big-time call leading up to Sunday's game in the afternoon. I believe it's a knee injury. Okay, so really stay up to date on Twitter throughout the weekend just to see if Antonio Brown is good to go for the weekend. Now, once again, as we did the AFC Championship preview, we're going to go over the NFC Championship preview, the betting line. So on Barstool Sportsbook, they have Green Bay Packers at -3.5, with the over/under being 51.5. Now this is it's a very close call. Once again, they're really expecting these games to be close. Like this betting line, in my opinion, I wouldn't touch it. I would, if I was a betting man, I would, maybe touch the Chiefs and Bills one. But this game is so very hard to decide. With that over/under 51.5, we just don't know what offense is going to come out from either side of the ball. Like we don't know which offense of Tampa Bay is going to come out and play, or which Green Bay Packers offense is going to come out and play. We saw both teams get blown out in games. Tampa Bay only put up 3 points in one game this season. The Green Bay Packers put up 10 points earlier in the season against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At 51.5 in the snow, that's going to be tough. So, in my opinion, if I was a betting man, I would bet the under. That's a tough call. Like I said, it's super tough. We know the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City offense are more pass heavy, more electrifying, right? They have younger, they're able to get the ball down the field a little bit more quicker. Where we just don't know which teams are going to show up in this matchup for the Green Bay Packers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, with that line, the 3.5, that's a tough call. Okay, it's going to be tough, and I'm sure it might get closer as the weekend proceeds and we get closer to game time. But that's going to be tough. So let's go on to the prediction. Okay, we have the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers. Then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady. We're playing in Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra. 2:05 Central Time on the Fox Network. Who will win? I know my decision. My decision is I truly believe the Green Bay Packers stop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers run game. They hold them to let's say 18 to 21 points. Antonio Brown doesn't play. The Green Bay Packers secondary locks up Mike Evans. And Devontae Adams is too much for the young Tampa Bay secondary. I believe that the Green Bay Packers, now this is my opinion, will win by more than 10 points. I'm not sure how much more than 10 points, but I do know they will win by at least more than 10 points. Now, what I need you, the listeners, to do is let me know in the comments down below who you have in the AFC and NFC Championship game, the scores that you predict will win, and if you select the correct score, you will be given a prize. Now, the prize is not yet chosen yet, but it's going to be a very, very nice prize. I can promise you that. But you must be eligible. In order to be eligible to win the prize, you have to be subscribed to the WPT Lifestyle Show's YouTube channel. Okay, so predict the scores down in the comments section down below for both games, Kansas City versus Buffalo, as well as the Green Bay Packers versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Wow, we're 32 minutes, which was outstanding. Great time for that. And we're going to have another one airing Monday. We're going to have the review of how the games went this weekend. I truly, truly hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the WPT Lifestyle Show. Don't forget, check out the links down in the description box. Okay, like the video, subscribe to all the YouTube channels. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at WPT Lifestyle. Check out WPTLifestyle.com. And remember, the WPT Lifestyle Show is exclusively on YouTube and Anchor FM. I'm Wes with WPT Lifestyle. I'll see y'all Monday.